Hey, it's Jordan with Status Coup. Hillary Clinton is dusting off the Bernie derangement just in time for the midterm elections. It seems like she doesn't want to do anything actually productive, getting involved with the massive union movement around the country, worker strikes. She wants to continue deriding Bernie Sanders, who frankly did more to elect Hillary Clinton in the final months leading up to the 2016 election than she did for herself. I digress. Let's take a look at Hillary Clinton's latest Bernie zinger. This is from a new book by an NBC News reporter. Hillary Clinton suggests that Bernie Sanders is sexist. I know the kinds of things that he says about women and to women. Hillary Clinton suggested to an NBC News reporter in a forthcoming book that she believes Bernie Sanders is sexist. The remarks were documented in NBC News correspondent Ali Vitale's new book, Electable, expected to come out later this month. Clinton spoke to Vitale after a widely televised clash between Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, who were both on the ballot in 2020. Warren was caught accusing Sanders of calling her a liar during a presidential debate. I love the framing, was caught accusing Sanders of calling her a liar during the presidential debate after Warren, of course, leaked to CNN that Bernie, quote unquote, allegedly told her a woman can't become president, which obviously was fed to CNN by Warren, and CNN, quote, confirmed that by citing sources close to Warren, i.e., a completely made up, conjured story of Elizabeth Warren's interpretation of a conversation that became a media firestorm over several days during the 2020 primary. Quote, I think you called me a liar on national TV, Warren told Sanders. Let's not do this right now, Sanders responded. You want to have this discussion? We'll have that discussion. The heated discussion began after Warren and Sanders had told her in a private Warren said Sanders told her in a private meeting in 2018 that he didn't believe a woman could successfully win against Donald Trump, which Sanders denied. Clinton saw the moment unfold, Vitale reported. Quote, I believed her because I know Sanders and I know the kind of things that he says about women and to women, she told Vitale, as documented in her new books. So I thought she was telling an accurate version of the conversation they had. Clinton said she'd wished Warren had, quote, pushed back in front of everybody. Quote, I think it's important that you call it out when it happens, and that was my only regret for her, that I wish she had just turned on him and said, you know, it's one thing to mislead people about your health care plan, she said. Got to get in a zinger about Medicare for all. Quote, it's another thing to tell someone to her face that a conversation which you know happened didn't happen. I mean, that would have been, I think, a really important moment for her. So apparently, Hillary Clinton has inside information about things Bernie Sanders supposedly says about women or to women. Very, very interesting because, I mean, I covered both Bernie Sanders campaigns. I've literally never heard anything about Bernie Sanders inappropriate, harsh, misogynist towards women. I've heard things about some of his staffers, having double standards for men versus women. Obviously there were sexual harassment claims that Bernie Sanders had to address, not by him, but by staffers that I think he addressed head on in the 2020 campaign about problems that were in the 2016 campaign. I mean, I've heard a lot of things about Bernie Sanders, but I've never in 6 years of covering him heard anything about derogatory, inappropriate, misogynist, sexist things he's ever said to women or about women. So it's very interesting that Hillary Clinton is, coming out of the woods and the wilderness to throw that, Bernie Sanders is a secret sexist out there. It's also interesting just in light of the facts. I mean, this is from the New Yorker, no like Bernie headquarters. The New Yorker, pretty much your bourgeoisie liberal, magazine here. This is from Jane Mayer. Since conceding defeat in the primary, Sanders has been one of the real champions of this campaign, referring to Hillary Clinton's 2016 campaign. He let his supporters yell at him and deride him as a sellout in bleak delegate breakfasts at the Democratic National Convention in Philadelphia as he endorsed Clinton and explained why they needed to do the same. He made getting support for her his priority, putting aside any subtle, undermining gestures that might have better preserved his rebel rock star status. He has kept doing so despite other revelations in the Podesta emails, ones that are not about him personally, but about the issues that he believes in. For example, about money and politics, as exemplified by the Clintons' team's nurturing of donors. And he has earned the right to negotiate hard on such issues in the future. As Sanders finished his speech in Raleigh, quote, "We have to do everything that we can to elect Secretary Clinton." Clinton and Farrell were on their feet cheering. "Wow," Clinton said when they took to the rostrum. "Whoa, I got to say, after hearing from these two extraordinary men, I feel all fired up and ready to go over the next 5 days." She knew what it was like to run against Sanders. Having him on her side was a lot more fun. A few hours later, Sanders was off on his own to Iowa. Trump is ahead in the state in the latest average of polls by about 2.5 points. Sanders had 3 events scheduled on Friday for Hillary Clinton. And I covered some of Bernie Sanders, one or two of his events for Hillary Clinton in 2016. And it was not a pleasurable experience for me seeing Bernie have to neuter himself on stage for Hillary Clinton. But he did the deed for Hillary Clinton. In fact, he did the deed 39 times. Let me repeat. He did 39 events for Hillary Clinton. At one point, he was doing more events for Hillary Clinton than Hillary Clinton was doing for Hillary Clinton. Sanders in 2020 speaks frequently about 2016, but only to highlight the ascent of his policies within the Democratic Party. The hard feelings among both his and Clinton's supporters that escalated during that primary and hardened after Donald Trump's victory are rarely discussed, but never too far from the surface. When questioned, Sanders, like he did on Thursday, is quick to note his considerable travel on the nominee's behalf. By his campaign's count, Sanders did 39 rallies for Clinton in 13 states over the final 3 months of the 2016 general election. I mean, literally in August of 2016, Hillary Clinton did more fundraising events in the Hamptons, San Francisco, bougie areas of Washington, D.C., while Bernie Sanders was out parading the country for her, despite knowing she is a warmonger and neoliberal corporatist and the antithesis of what he believes a political leader needs to be. He did it because he felt Trump was an unacceptable and dangerous threat to the country. So it's just really amazing to me. I mean, it's not only all of this, but to be clear, as Bernie Sanders said when accused by Elizabeth Warren of being a secret sexist, the only reason he even ran in 2016 was because she chose not to. Bernie was privately lobbying Elizabeth Warren to run and pick up the progressive, the progressive baton when she was a progressive. In 2016, she chose not to run, so Bernie ran. Does this sound like a secret sexist that feels like, oh, women, we believe they should be in politics, but, not at the top. They don't have a chance. No, he wanted Warren to run. He did everything humanly possible for Hillary Clinton to win in 2016. It's not his fault she didn't campaign in Wisconsin. It's not his fault that her campaign pulled volunteers out of Michigan preemptively, thinking she was going to win there. It's not his fault she had no economic policy. It's not his fault they ran a campaign basically Trump's the devil, Trump's Lucifer, vote for me. I mean, it's just crazy. And that, by the way, this doesn't mean Bernie should go without criticism. I've been very, very direct about his failures in 2016, 2020. He always brought a spoon to a knife fight. He would not go past the line. He would not go for the political jugular of Hillary Clinton, of Joe Biden. My friend Joe should have literally took a machete to Joe Biden on his lies about his record on civil rights, the terrible things he's done to Black people, mass incarceration, his love affair with the banks. He should have called Joe Biden corrupt. Putting all that aside, this is clearly somebody who went to the mat to elect Hillary Clinton he wanted Warren to run. And the other thing that I think really, really grated Hillary Clinton in 2016, I think really, really got under her skin, was the fact that younger women were not buying her bullshit, and younger women were flocking to Bernie Sanders. Sanders appeals to younger voters, including young women, for a variety of reasons. As Hilliker noted, the economy is one of them. A December survey found that a full 72% of millennial women said bills and expenses are their greatest source of stress. Both both Sanders and Clinton have proposed policies that would benefit young people, and particularly women financially, college debt reduction, equal pay, and family leave among them. Likewise, both have strong records of supporting women's reproductive rights in the Violence Against Women Act. So why is Sanders such a stark favorite? At least part of the answer lies in the fact that millennials have a strong anti-establishment bent. About half of millennials identify as independent, more than any younger generation, which indicates a distrust of major parties. Sanders, of course, is an independent. So also, Bloomberg View reported that younger voters are also more wary than older voters of military action in the Midwest. Hillary Clinton, infamous for her warmongering. She was pushing Obama when she was Secretary of State to basically go to war with Syria, to double down even more than Obama did in Afghanistan. So I think Hillary Clinton always, it burned on her that the young women that she thought she was entitled to as kind of like, the face politically of the feminist movement were feeling the burn. So, why is this important? Why does it matter? Hillary is out of politics. Bernie, we don't think is going to run again. It matters because this kind of continues the overall corporate campaign against Bernie, but more importantly, anyone with a backbone in the progressive movement. And there really aren't many with a backbone in the progressive movement. Just look at it, the Inflation Reduction Act of a couple weeks ago. Oh my God, these corporatists were circling around Bernie like it was a shark for the crime of trying to add amendments that would actually make the bill, I don't know, do actually something real for working people rather than neoliberal tax incentives. Anything having to do with Bernie Sanders, they have long used him like a piñata, and Bernie, being Bernie, has essentially folded like a cheap tent. And this is just a continuation of that, with Hillary Clinton continuing to bitterly and vengefully blame someone like Bernie Sanders for the fact that she went from maybe long ago having a core vision, some core principles, to selling out as a corporatist sellout. And that's why she lost, because she was a corporatist sellout with no vision. But Bernie Sanders will always be her boogeyman. Thanks for watching, and make sure to tune in to Status Coup's daily live stream Monday through Thursday at 5 o'clock Eastern Time and Fridays at 4 o'clock Eastern Time.